Hey y'all, this is Stacy with the Craft Room Diaries. Thanks for joining me today for this Project Lifestyle process video in Documenting Life by the Moment. For today's layout, I decided to challenge myself to use 3 things from my stash that I rarely go to. So the first one was old Project Life cards. The second one was scraps of paper. And the third one was punches. After digging through this stash of cards, which actually aren't even mine, they're from my scrappy friend Nicole, I ended up choosing several coordinating cards that had a creamy white in it instead of just a pure white, because my color scheme on my photos I found had a lot of warm white in them. I do often like to pull old scraps from my little scrap pile to use on layouts. I think it allows me to use my creativity even more and do something that's truly unique. And it also makes me feel really good eliminating them from my scrap bin. I have a lot of fun cutting up these cards. I like to call it redesigning. There was a time when I felt like I didn't want to mess anything up, and I would hold on to things because I didn't want to, cut them apart or do anything different, but I liked one part of it. But I've really gotten into just cutting things to be the way I want them. I still use the rounded corner Project Life cards sometimes, but I find it more cohesive right now to use square edge cards, especially when I'm printing my photos with a white border. I also find it easier when I'm working on the opposite side of the page protector as well, just to make everything fit better. So I've kind of started cutting things to where that they fit what I need instead of feeling bad about messing them up. Is anybody else in for doing that right now? I think it also brings me back a little to the way I scrapbooked many years ago. I transitioned to pocket pages or Project Lifestyle several years ago because I started leaning more towards a focus on photos and the stories that go along with them. Although I don't do a traditional weekly or monthly, I call it Documenting Life by the Moment. That's just for me personally, which is more of the special moments that I want to remember. And I do still enjoy doing a full 12 by 12 page, full page layout, especially when I want to showcase a special photo. And I put those right in the same album because it's my album, right? After cropping a few more scraps that coordinated with the color scheme I had chose, I did a little journaling about our experience. It was a little bit of a bucket list experience for me, not the game itself, but we live about an hour out of New Orleans. So for night games, we usually get a hotel room. Now, I've always wanted to stay at Le Pavillon. It's a gorgeous historic hotel on Poydras Street, but it's usually pretty pricey, especially on game days. But by the way, there's my hotel recommendation if you guys are ever in New Orleans. But anyway, when I jumped on Travelocity to book a room for this game, it so happened to be the Travelocity deal of the day. Can you believe that? So I immediately booked it, and it was fabulous. It was all decked out in its Christmas splendor, absolutely gorgeous, and I just loved it. I used my arrow punch and found a stamp in my stash, a little stamp that says, "I love this place," and then jazzed that up a little with an enamel heart just to give it a little pop of color. Then ended up cropping and matting this photo to give it a little more dimension and interest on the blue background. These star stamps are from Bo Bunny. I think they're called I Heart stamps, I believe. I picked them up on a Tuesday morning haul, and I love the size of them. They're great for breaking up empty space. And I ended up adding some color to them in between by pulling some little colorful tiny hearts, tiny stars from an old planner pad that I had. I think it just filled it in really nicely. And then I took it over to my sewing machine and just added a few little stitches just to give it a little more dimension and visual interest. I recently picked up a handful of these Carpe Diem planner sticker pads. I don't do planners, but they were so cheap, and they have some really great sentiment stickers in them, which I think are nice for adding to photos. I ended up using a few more circle punches because remember my plan was to use punches. And I even put things together and then end up taking them apart and reworking them. But thankfully, this glue runner is forgiving like that, especially if it hasn't been on, stuck down for too long. I have, though, completely ruined stuff by doing this. But, sometimes I just change my mind. But I don't know, maybe I should start using removable glue, maybe. Oh, and the Craft Room Diaries has just launched its Facebook group. It's an inspiration group for scrapbookers and crafters of all kinds to share their ideas and talents and to learn and have your creativity sparked by others. I always love seeing what others are doing. So if you love creating too, this is the place to connect with others just like us. I'll also be posting links to new video content there as well. And I'd love it if you joined our group. Simply search the Craft Room Diaries on Facebook and send a request to join. I'd love to have you as part of our group. I've really enjoyed my 3 Little Things challenge and using things that I haven't used in a while. It's almost like rediscovering something. I think sometimes we accumulate so many supplies that we forget about the things that we have that are fun to work with. And of course, there's always so much awesome new products and materials coming out. And I don't know if you're like me, but of course I want it all. But it's fun to combine the old with the new and just create something that's really unique. I'm sure I'll challenge myself to do this again. I'm making a list of items that I haven't used in a while to start using 2 or 3 of them in each layout. So be on the lookout for what I pull out next. I hope you challenge yourself too to look around in your craft goodies and use something that you haven't incorporated in a while. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up and share it with a scrappy friend. And if you're a new visitor to my channel, please consider subscribing. I hope you visit the Craft Room Diaries again soon. And I hope you're having a happy scrappy day.